Hello ladies and gentlemen. I've decided to take part in Spookytoberfest this year. I don't usually go in for these kind of big group projects because I usually have too much stuff on the go at any given time to throw something new into it. Anyone who's seen my painting table can attest to that. I usually have way too much stuff on it all being worked on at the same time. But I am currently working on something incredibly weird and spooky, so I thought it would be highly appropriate. The footage you're seeing here is me starting some work on my crab Defiler. You may wonder what I'm doing taking all the hair off a Barbie doll head. That will become apparent later on. And you can see there's quite a lot of hair on that, and this is extremely sped up footage in the style of the great JoJo Man, who I'm shamelessly ripping off with this. The idea of speeding up video, I mean, not the crab Defiler, because that's completely original. No one else has ever done anything remotely like that. And if they have, I don't want to know about it. So you can see how difficult it was to pluck the final bits of hair from that Barbie head. So I ended up trying to cover what was left with green stuff, but I didn't really like the way it was going down because the head is kind of floppy and squishy. So what I'm doing here, I'm wedging some green stuff inside the head since I already had it mixed for that purpose, and I'm just gonna plop it right down in there and try and get it to harden on the top edge of the head so that I'll be able to work with it later and it won't be so squishy. And now, cutting to later on, you can see the actual body of the Defiler here. I've taken off the front two pincer arms because I'm going to be reposing those, and you can see the Barbie doll torso in the box there that's going to be going on top. I'm just messing about figuring out what the best pose will be for those before I go any further. And there's another cut. And this is fun. Have you ever tried cracking the arms off a Barbie doll? It's a lot harder than you would think. They are definitely child-proof. Look at this. I'm having to grind bits of it off with the clippers. Just pulling it wasn't doing it. Just look how tough that is. This is considerably sped up as well. This took a really long time. This took maybe about the same amount of time as pulling all the hair out, which also took a really long time. But look how much of this stuff you have to just demolish before the arm will come off. They don't make these things easy to break at all. But whoa, there goes an arm. And then arm number 2, of course, which isn't any easier at all. In fact, it's harder because there's less for me to grab onto, I think. I was able to kind of get the two arms and pull them together a little bit to get a grip on it. It's a smaller piece now. Yep, still in there with the clippers. You can see the Defiler in the background there. One of the pincer legs has actually been attached, but I do remove that again. I decided it's going to be easier to work on without those actually glued down yet, just with the 4 back legs. I think this is almost off now, this arm. Just a couple more twists, I think, and there we go. Woohoo! And there's the head. Delicious. I decided that the neck was a little bit too long here, so I'm shortening that. The Barbie's proportions, I don't know how accurate they are, but they look kind of weird for a miniature like this. The arms were definitely way too long to use, so they had to go. And then the neck needed a little shortening. I'm still not entirely sure if I'm going to use the Barbie doll head or not, but I'm going ahead as if I am going to be using it for the time being. And you can see me here fiddling with my bits. Everyone loves to see that. I'm just looking at some different spikes, seeing what will look good on the various curves of the doll, seeing how I can make it look a bit more interesting. This is a new bits box I bought, by the way. I believe it was £3, because all my other bits boxes are full, and I was moving on to ice cream tubs and all manner of ridiculous things, so I thought, you know what, I'll get a new compartmentalised one for my 40k projects. So it's Chaos on the left and Space Marines on the right. And you can see here that I'm fiddling around with the shoulder pads, the idea of shoulder pads at the very least. And here we go, I bought a new saw. And this is where I finally get to use it. I would have loved to have it when I was taking those arms off, to be honest. But never mind. I'm using it here to take out the pelvis region of the doll, because that had to go, so I could rest it on top of the Defiler body. And it came off incredibly easily with that saw. It's a very handy tool. It's a bit on the large side, but it does the job. I'm just admiring my handiwork here, I think. And that's pretty much how it would look if I were to just put it together like that. I was clipping a little bit off the bottom there, and you can see here that I have used some milliput and attached the Barbie torso to the Defiler legs and body. I didn't bother showing that, because I'm finding that milliput gets stuck to my hands very easily, so I need to keep them wet, so I didn't want to be fiddling about with the camera afterwards or anything. And here you can see I have what was a lid for a pen, I believe, and I'm going to be making that into the battle cannon, which is going to be mounted around the abdomen region. I'm rolling out some green stuff here to hold it in place. It's going to look like some kind of chaosy bodily opening of some kind. I'll leave it to your imagination as to what it ends up looking like. But I'm putting two pieces of green stuff down, one on each side of where it's going to go in, with the hope that I'll then blend it a little bit better into the skin so it doesn't just look like it's tacked on there. So I go around the edges with a little tool, kind of pushing it down a bit just so it doesn't look like a donut just stuck to the outside of the doll. This does take a while. It's not as blended in as I would have liked. However, I do something else to tie it all together a little more. That may come in a future episode. And I'm just sawing a little bit off the gun here because I realised it was going to be a little bit too long. Don't want it to stick out too far now, do I? The saw coming in handy yet again. And I'm putting the gun inside there, seeing how it looks. And at this point I decide that I'm going to use some more green stuff just to stick it inside so it won't come out at all. Give it a bit more strength in there. So mixing up green stuff, woohoo. I've made it into a little round donut shape, as you can see there. I'm gluing it to the barrel, applying some more glue, and into the opening it goes. Delicious. And then just poking it down here. If this isn't the best video quality, it's because I still haven't been able to get my high quality camera yet, and I was tired of holding off on making all these video projects, so I'm just going to go ahead with some of them with the crusty old webcam. Here I'm messing around with a couple of autocannons, because I want to have a Reaper autocannon as one of the weapon options on this thing. These are two Imperial Guard autocannons, plastic ones, and I'm just filing them down so they can sit on top of each other nicely. The ammo barrel does get in the way, so I'll be clipping that partially off in a second, and then I'm going to later rebuild it a bit with green stuff. Hopefully seamless, but you never know. I'm not that skilled with that, the actual sculpting aspect of green stuff. So we'll see how that comes out. You can see me furiously filing away, and there they are stuck together nicely. Isn't that lovely? I'm going to decorate them a little bit to make them more chaosy, but we're coming to the end of the episode now, so I'll just show you a few still shots of where I'm up to, and I'll see you next time.